Alright, here's the brisket. So, I didn't record when I trimmed it, but pretty much 15 pounds. I trimmed off, the hard part, fats. On the other side is the fat cap. This is the top. You see the striations. The meat's going this way. So whenever I cook it and I cut it, I have to cut it this way. See, the grain is going that way. And then I did my own spices. I used a little bit of onion powder, some garlic powder, paprika. I didn't use a lot of chili, salt and pepper. Always use kosher salt. So right now I'm just letting it sit for a little bit. I got the fire going at 225. It's already set. It's already set at 225. Let's see. So see you in a bit. I forgot to mention, I cut. This is the fat. I cut striations right there, like that, just so when it's easier for it to render, because this is the hard part, so it doesn't render much. On the fat cap, I left about an inch, like about a 1/4 inch of fat. You can leave that. That helps the meat with flavor. So you can leave a quarter inch of fat. Don't leave too much more than that. All right, so we got the Weber, the Smoky Mountain, 22.5 inches. All right, so we have the temperature at 225. That's the internal temp right now. Sometimes the ones that come on the actual Weber, they're off. So I wouldn't always trust these. Get yourself like an electronic temperature control device to see the internal temp of the pit and of the actual food. So this is at 225, and right now I'm fixing to take this off. Open this up. So right here on the Weber Smoky Mountain, we have a big water pan. It's probably maybe 2 gallons worth of water. And so right here I have the hose. I'm fixing to go turn it on, and then I'm gonna put some water in there, fill it up. Because that water is going to evaporate, and what that's going to do is when that fire, I'll show you. When that fire is hitting that pan, it's going to steam up that water, and so that water, the steam is circulating inside, creating a convection oven effect. So with that convection oven effect, it cooks your meat all the way around at the same temperature, cooks it thoroughly and efficiently. All right, guys, I'm gonna talk to you about setting up the fire. All right, in here I'm using charcoal to start the fire to get the temperature. Charcoal is pretty good because I like to use it because it lasts long. So what I do is I fill in that basket and I do a ring. I do what's called a donut, right? You do the donut, leave the hole in the middle, and then you get some, the donut, you use the charcoal, right? So with the charcoal, you create a donut effect. You just pour it in there, man, until you get it somewhere almost to the top of the metal ring. So you center out the middle, remove any charcoal that's there in the middle, creating a donut, right? So you got a hole now in the middle. So you pour some charcoal in here, briquettes, up to about the middle, which is like right about here. Got this 1, 2, 3. It's probably around between the second and the third hole. This is a Weber chimney. So on the Weber chimney, you put it around here. You can stuff newspaper underneath it, right? Put the newspaper underneath it. You light it, and you leave it there for about good 15 minutes, 15-20 minutes, until all the briquettes are red. It'll be white and red, so it'll be nice and hot. Then you go and you pour it right in the middle of that donut, right in the middle of the hole. You get it there, and then that'll help keep the temperature around. It'll keep it kind of low for that 225. If you use too much briquette in here and fill that thing up to the top, it's gonna get the pit really hot. And so the problem with that is it's hard to cool down a pit. It's hard to lower the temperature, but it's a lot easier to raise the temperature. So if you have a low temp, you know, start off low and raise it up until you get it right to where you want it. You don't want to have high temp and then, you know, work your ass off trying to, you know, cool it down and get it to right to where you want, because it's a pain in the ass, you know. And I've been there, and so it takes me like about an hour trying to lower that temp. So I found out it's just a lot easier to, you know, have a low temp and, you know, make it rise. All right, here we go. We're gonna add the water. That's a lot of water, man. All right, there we go. Got it to the top. There we go. We got it all the way to the, almost to the top. It's pretty good. That's where we want it. Close this back up. All right. Put my temperature control device on there. This actually blows air into the fire, rising the temperature. So right now it senses the temperature is dropping, so it's going to start blowing more air in until it gets it back to the temperature that I set it at, which was 225. So this is the Pitmaster IQ. When it spins like that right there, it's because it's blowing short little bursts of air. So if it keeps sensing that the temperature is dropping, what it's going to do is going to keep throwing them little bursts. If it drops too low, the fan is going to stay continuously on until it can see that the temperature is rising at somewhat of a fast pace. And so when it can detect that that temperature is rising at a fast pace, it stops, lets it increment slowly until, and throws little bursts of air until it reaches that temperature. Then it stays there, stops throwing more air. If it senses it drops a degree, throws a little bit more air in there. So the main thing this thing does is try to keep it right at the temperature that you want it, which is 225. And okay, so we're trying to get this pit at 225. The reason I use this, it helps with temperature control. All right, so if my temperature fluctuates, let's say I have it set for 225, temperature drops to 200 degrees, you know, and then I get it, you know, I work on it, trying to get it back up. If I get it too hot, to, you know, 235, and if I just keep, you know, messing with the fire, trying to get it, you know, at these different temperatures, what it's going to do is it's going to dry out the meat, because you know, the temperature, the internal temperature of the pit is fluctuating, and that's going to cause the meat to dry out. So that's why first I'm trying to get this pit ready, set at 225. Once it's at a steady 225, I'm gonna go ahead and put my meat in. Once the meat's in, the temperature is constant and my meat's not gonna dry out. Tomorrow morning, I'm gonna see what it looks like, you know, what color. I want it kind of a mahogany, maybe a little bit darker than that, but the mahogany color is kind of the go-to color for it, because it's pretty much there. It's usually, when it gets to that color, it's probably like 165 internal temp. So on a brisket, the best temperature to get a brisket so it's moist, tender, is 195 to 200 degrees. Anything over that, you're gonna overcook it. It's not gonna depends on how much you cook it. Let's say you go 210, 215, it's not gonna really dry out the meat. What it's gonna do is it's gonna cause the the brisket to be too tender. It's gonna cause the brisket to be too tender, and then it's gonna fall apart. You're not gonna be able to slice it properly. All right. So right here we have a 15-pound brisket. It's actually 15.8, so almost 16 pounds. See how it fits perfectly. Right here on the Weber 22-inch Smoky Mountain. So I'm about to put the lid on, and I'm about to go get. This is the whole thing about smoking brisket. You need some kind of wood flavor on there. For brisket, the best flavor is mesquite, because mesquite's has a hard flavor, like an earthy flavor, and it goes good with brisket. So I'm about to put that in. I'll be right back. We'll go get the wood logs, and we'll be back. All right, so right here I have mesquite, the little mini logs, because I already have. These are not gonna be used for heat, so it's not gonna be used to create temperature in the pit. What it's gonna be used for is for the smoke flavor, that smoke profile. So that's why I got the little mini logs, pretty big. I mean, you know, they're pretty good size. I'm gonna put three of them in here, and I'm gonna put them right in the middle. There, so I got these three. There we go. Got that closed up. Should begin some smoke. There we go. So the vents on this, they go this way. There we go. So it's sticking because it has a little bit of char in there, a little bit of grease. So I'm gonna do the opening about halfway, where the smoke really bellows in there. And then that's it, man. Put this joker on. So I have the meat in there. And I'm not gonna open up the lid until tomorrow. So right now it's 12 o'clock. I'm not gonna open it up till tomorrow. And then when I open it up tomorrow, it's just that one time for color. And pretty much it's gonna be, I'm gonna check it around maybe 8, 9 o'clock. And by that time it should have a nice dark mahogany color. And wrap it up in a Texas clutch, some aluminum foil, put it back on until we get it to temperature, internal temp of 195 or 200 to 200. All right, guys. It's like 8 in the morning, and I'm about to open it up. The temperature has stayed at 225. All right, before you open it up, you want to make sure everything's prepped up. That way you don't lose a lot of heat. You just open it up, take the meat out, close it up, and then your meat's here, ready to go. So you can wrap up. I got 3 pieces of aluminum foil. I usually buy the heavy duty foil bulk from Sam's Club or Costco. This one's from Sam's Club, or if you're in another state, you know, maybe you have a BJ's or something like that. Then I put it here right before, you know, I wrap it. I'm gonna put some of this, which is beef broth, and a couple splashes of Worcestershire sauce. And so what that's gonna do is when you put it on here, you got a little bit of liquid, and you close it up, you have a nice tight seal, and that's gonna steam the meat and those and give it a nice flavor profile. And so when you're steaming it, it's gonna cook the inside better, and that's the whole point of the Texas clutch as well, is to start increasing the internal temperature of the meat, because what happens is your meat is gonna start stalling, so you're gonna end up being there for a long time. So that's why we wrap it up, that way we can help the internal temperature increase. So right now, honestly, I don't have a meat probe in it because I'm not worried about the internal temperature right now. But once we get it wrapped up, I'm gonna insert a meat probe in it. That way I can monitor the internal temperature. I can monitor it from here. So it'll tell me the pit temperature when it's lit up there, and then when it's lit up here, it'll be the food temperature. And the scan, it'll go in between both temperatures, so it'll tell you what's the temperature of both things. So we're about to open this thing up right now. Put this to the side. There's our brisket. See that? That's that nice mahogany color I was telling you about. Oh, that's perfect. And you want a nice color, you see that? Got a good part going. That looks good. That paprika really helps it give it that that mahogany color. The paprika and the chili, that's what gives it that good color. Also, guys, don't forget, the best way to grab this and put it there, don't use tongs or a fork or nothing. You don't want to poke the meat. So what I do is, you see, I bought these at Harbor Freight. It's like regular winter gloves or garden gloves. It has no grip. And then I went ahead and bought some nitrile gloves. These are the pretty thick kind. And so what that does is I'm able to pick up this meat, and I can put my hand on the grill and not worry about getting burned. You know what I'm saying? So I'm able to keep that heat from burning me. So this is what I use. It's pretty cool. All right, so you want to make sure you wrap it. I forgot to show y'all. So I ended up pouring a little bit of that beef broth with sour sauce mix combination in here. So then you're gonna close this thing up. You want it nice and tight. Okay, we got a little gap, but that's okay. It's a big brisket, and so that's why when I set the aluminum foil down, I set it in a crisscross pattern, so that way I can fold it this way, cover up any gaps or holes. Make sure that's all nice and tight. I took the gloves off because obviously they were greasy from when I touched the brisket. Took it off. I just got these regular, mittens or garden gloves or whatever. Trying to get all this done with one hand. Alright, that way I can say I cook brisket in one hand. Alright, then we're gonna put it back into the pit. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead, check the fire, right? Well, really what I'm checking for is the charcoal. We're not worried about the wood anymore, because since it's wrapped up, that smoke is not gonna penetrate the aluminum foil. So we're not worried about inserting any more wood. If there's wood left over, cool, it's gonna burn, you know, it's gonna help with the heat. But me, what I wanna do is I wanna check and see if I need to put more charcoal. You could just dump it in through here, you know, once you open it up. You can kind of see, you might want a flashlight or something, but you want to go ahead and check and see if you need more charcoal. So we're gonna go ahead and let's take a look. Okay, we got a little bit of good charcoal left in there, some good amount of wood. Let's see. See how the wood has burned right there, right there. So yeah, we'll pile that up right there, and then we're gonna put some charcoal right here. That way, when the fire reaches all the way over here, because it's gonna start, you know, working its way. So the fire is going over there right now, and so when that wood or charcoal starts burning, it's gonna end up catching these charcoal briquettes over here once I insert them, and it's gonna help with the fire, keep it so I can continue to cook, because it's gonna be maybe another 8 hours or so. Also, you don't have to worry too much about the water pan, because it's wrapped up, and I already put that liquid in there to create that steam effect.